Good morning, cycle breakers. We are here with a quick workshop on transition, how to move to that next stage of your life. First off, we are all in transition all the time. It doesn't matter what stage in life that you're at, you are going to be in a transition eventually. So either you're coming out of a transition or you're going in a transition. So the first key is to accept transition as a normal way of life and stop resisting change. Instead, we have to adjust. The first thing we have to understand is that we are always in transition all the time. Either you're coming out of a transition or you're moving into a transition. So once we recognize that, we stop battling it and just prepare ourselves to have our best life. One way to adjust is to start with what we do with the cycle breaker movement. There are 4 elements of the cycle breaker movement. First, you have to recognize the need to break a cycle. Second, you have to commit to breaking the cycle. Third, gather the necessary tools and resources, and then you have to stay in the game. That's that grit so that you can endure when it gets hard. There are 4 elements to the cycle breaker movement. The first one is recognizing the need for change. Now, whether that's in your community, your family, or your personal life, you have to recognize where change needs to happen. The next step is committing to making that change, because it's not enough just to say, I know what I need to change or what needs to be changed. You have to commit to making that change. Then you have to gather the tools and resources necessary. Maybe that's a book. Maybe that's a coach. Maybe that's someone just to be your accountability partner, but you need those tools. And then lastly, you have to commit and stay in it with that grit. That means when it gets hard and when everyone seems to be against you, you stay in the game. An additional tool that you can use is emotional intelligence. And there are 4 areas of emotional intelligence: self-responsibility, self-management, social responsibility, and social management. We talk a lot about this during my workshops on emotional intelligence, but it's imperative that we at least recognize the need to get our emotions together so that we can properly deal with transitions. Another tool that we use in the cycle breaker movement is the elements of emotional intelligence. Now, when you're going through a transition, you have to have your emotions intact. Now, I'm not going to speak directly to emotional intelligence because that's so deep and so many hours of workshops and things that I can give you, but I will say this. You have to recognize yourself, because that's self-awareness. You have to be aware of the responsibility that you have. So that's self-responsibility. What can you do? How do you hold yourself accountable? Then there's social awareness. That means being aware of what's happening out in the world and how you relate to that. And then there's social management, the connection between yourself, the world, and you achieving your goals, which in this talk, we're talking about transitioning smoothly to the next phase of your life. Now, when you put it all together, you see it all relates. The elements of being a cycle breaker, recognizing, committing, getting tools, and having that grit, they relate to self-awareness, self-responsibility, social awareness, and social management. So it's all intertwined in how we deal with our transitions to get to the next phase of life. And then we have tools that you can use during your transition on top of emotional intelligence as well as the cycle breaker movement. The first tool is to harness and use your breath. Using your breath to calm you down, whether that's a breathing technique that you've learned in a yoga class, like one of my classes, or something that you just do to calm yourself down. Ever since we were born, we utilized our breath as a way to calm ourselves down. And that's something that we can't forget, because the higher the anxiety, the more likelihood you're going to hold your breath, which just creates a negative situation. So breathe and relax. Harness and use the power of your breath. Your breath will calm you down. Your breath will keep you together. Now, I teach breathing techniques in my yoga class, but even if you're just breathing just to exist, when things get rough, take that deep breath in, exhale, pause, and relax. Next, you have to move your body. When you are laying around sad, stagnant, all of that energy will just lay down and rest. It won't be positive energy. You need to be positive. You need to send energy through your body that's telling you that things are going to change and that you're going to make it through this transition. So don't sit down and mope. Instead, get up, move your body, transition into your new phase of life with that energy that's going to carry you all the way through. And then you have to move your body. Don't stay still. Don't stay stagnant. Don't let all that energy just sit at the bottom of your being without being bubbled up into positive energy and movement. Even if it's just doing jumping jacks, anything you can do, dancing, move your body, because that will help you deal with the stress of the transition that you're going through. Guard your energy. Guarding your energy is so important because all around you are energetic forces, not just life forces, but the energy of people that you interact with. So if you are not in the best state of mind, you can't be around people who are going to bring you down. And at the same time, if you are in a bad state of mind and you need someone to help lift you up, guarding your energy, being around people who will help you improve your energy. But keep in mind, energy is contagious. So you have to guard yours and seek out the right energy for your situation. Now, here's a point that I spend a lot of time on during my workshops: guarding your energy. Your energy is all you have, right? If you don't have any more energy, basically you don't have any more life. So be careful about how you spend your energy and who you give your energy to. And then most importantly, watch out for those who want to drain your energy. Guard your environment. Guarding your environment is very important, yet it's sometimes difficult. Look, you may be in a situation physically where you can't get out. Maybe you're in a relationship and you can't move right now. Maybe you live in a neighborhood that's not as safe as you would like it to be. But you can still guard your immediate environment, and maybe that's just the small circle around your body. So try your hardest to guard your environment, and if you can't, you have to remove yourself from the environment that's toxic. Guarding your environment is so very important, yet so difficult sometimes. You may be in a situation where you can't move immediately. Maybe you can't leave that relationship right now, but still you can guard your environment, at least on the inside. So be careful about how you interact with people. Don't let them just throw garbage in your environment. Don't let them litter. Don't let them destroy or bring toxic information and situations to you. Guard your environment so that you can guard your life. Keep on moving. Now, we talked about moving your body as a way to harness and control your energy. But now I'm talking about the fact that life will get hard and transitions are very difficult. But take it one step at a time. You know, when I have a million things going on, whether it's teaching my yoga classes, opening the studio, running the court, sentencings and things like that as a judge, I just look at my day and say, okay, it looks overwhelming. This is hard, but I'm going to take one step at a time, complete one project at a time. So when you're transitioning, don't worry about where you want to get. Don't overjump the situation. Instead, take it one movement, one step at a time. Let's go. And then the last tool, just as important, is keep on moving. And I mean one step at a time, one day at a time. You can't build Rome in a day, right? You can't go through every transition in a day. And sometimes your day is going to be overwhelming. I look at my day sometimes. I'm a judge. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I meditate. I exercise. I go to court. I teach yoga. I'm opening the studio. It's crazy, right? But what I do is I look at it and say, okay, one day at a time, one step at a time, one event at a time. And by the end of the day, I've made it through, just like you will. All right, it's Judge Dawson. Continue to be a cycle breaker. Continue to be the best that you can be. Take care.